I'm Justin Davis, and this is Drone Camps RC. What's up, guys? Good morning. It's time for coffee and a little bit of music this morning. I'm checking out some old school, like early 2000s punk videos. Just seemed to be much better music back then than a lot of the sort of auto-tune pop crap we have these days. These guys actually played instruments. Look at that. That's amazing. So today I'm going to review the TeamGee H6 super thin electric skateboard. It has a sort of a pintail on it, and I have it over here in the floor. We're going to check that out, and we're going to compare it to some of the other popular boards out there. I've ridden a whole ton of them this year, and I just want to say thanks to all the companies that have been sending me this stuff, but especially TeamGee, because this is an awesome skateboard. It has a top range of 10 miles, 18.5 miles per hour on the top speed. The low speed gets you 11 miles per hour. That's sort of good for sidewalks and stuff. And it has replaceable motors and replaceable wheels. So if you run down your wheels to super flat, you can go into their store and you can actually buy replaceable urethane wheels, which is super awesome. They have different colors here. You can get red, green, whatever. Super cool, because a lot of people are in the misconception that with the brushless motor wheels, you can't replace just the wheel. You have to replace the whole hub assembly and motor and everything. Not true. $10.99, you can get a new wheel and replace that. That's super cool. So the board itself, $529, down from $1,000 or something like that. I'm not sure they ever sold it for $1,000, but it is nice because it's only 14 pounds. This board is super, super light. It has 2-hour charge time on it, and the charger is like 1.5 amp, but 2 hours is super quick. And it does, like I said, it does get you around the 10-mile range. So not the longest range of any electric skateboard out there, but it does pretty good. It also has dual motors in the back, and those are 350 watts a piece. So it also has regenerative braking on it. And this is the TeamGee H6 right here. They also make another one that goes just a little bit faster, over 20 miles an hour. But if I had to pick one of these boards for my daily board, it's definitely going to be this H6, because it only weighs 14 pounds. These other boards right here are super heavy. They're over 20 pounds. Lugging them up and down the stairs kind of sucks. So if I'm going to pick out any board and take off and go get a slice of pizza or something, I'm going to grab the H6 every time, mainly because it's super thin. And look at this. This is the battery right there. Can you see it? And I don't know if the lithium battery is has some kind of cell going through the inside of the deck. I'd almost like to take something and split this board in two, or take it apart and look at what's underneath this cell right here, because this is the thinnest electric skateboard I've ever had my hands on. It's really, really thin. People think it's just like a regular board when I'm on the street with this. Look at that little bit of concave there in the deck. They got that sort of pinstripe in the grip tape, kind of a sort of a 1950s, 60s surfboard feel to it. They got their TeamGee logo up front, which is kind of cool. I kind of wish some of these companies would stop putting their logos on there. Pomelo board. Look how thick this battery is. This was reviewed on my channel a few months ago. A real nice surfy board. It has a nice flex in the deck, and it's sort of spongy when you're riding it. It has a lot of nice flex to it, but this board, I think, in a way, is a little bit shorter and it carves better. So this one has more of a surfy feel to it than the Pomelo does. And this one actually has a nicer remote than some of the other boards have. They sort of have that pistol grip style remote on these. They've sort of redesigned this remote to be kind of a little bit better. It fits in the hand a little bit better. There's your little throttle forward and back for the brake. On the side you have a high and low option. For low speed, it's going to get you 11 miles an hour. At high, it's going to get you that 18.5. And I was definitely at 18 miles an hour riding this board. This is your little LCD display right here. And you can see right there on the right hand side, the board's not on, but it's going to give me your power level right there. And on the left hand side right there, that's going to give you the level of the transmitter. So look at the very bottom, you've got a USB port right there for charging it up. But let me go ahead and turn on the board real quick for you. Power button's right here. The charge port is right here. So 2 hours charge time. Also is the quickest out of any of these boards that I reviewed, so I'm pretty excited about that. This is the charger. We're just going to take that off and plug that in. It looks like some kind of little guitar amp style plug, and we're just going to plug that in like this, if I can figure out which freaking way it goes in. There we go. Now it's charging, and it should charge in under 2 hours, so that's super awesome. Even if you took this out for lunch and you were hanging out somewhere for 45 minutes and you need a little bit of charge in this board to get home, you could actually do that pretty quick. Probably by the time you have lunch, you'd be ready to skate home, which is really nice. And it looks like they used a lot of their own type of hardware on this board, and it looks different than some of the other boards out there. A lot of the other boards are using this sort of universal parts and pieces that are sourced out of other factories in China. It seems like they're all sharing these parts. You can see over there on the Uplay board, that's the same hub style wheel and trucks on that one, and the same thing over here on the Pomelo. It looks exactly the same. So some of these companies are just making a new deck and then slapping the same old trucks and hub assembly motor wheels on there. So they're almost identical to each other for the exception of the deck. But TeamGee has designed their board, and they've designed their own trucks and wheels, so I got to give them a thumbs up for their engineering department. It seems like they're actually doing it themselves instead of sort of outsourcing a bunch of parts from just a factory and slapping them on the deck. But one thing I got to say about the remote, I'm just going to go ahead and turn it on again, turn the board on, and right now it's in reverse and I'm in high. I want to switch to low there, and now I'm going in reverse again. If I press that button right there, FD button, that's going to actually put it into forward. So now it's running forward. There's a little bit of a sort of a bug with this. If you're riding, they have this button right here, and I hate this because I'm riding and my thumb, the meat of my thumb right there, pushes that button sometimes when I'm riding it. So that's my only probably negative part of this review for this board so far, is that this button gets pushed, and what happens is it's not going to pitch you right off the board immediately. When you're riding, the board's going to come to a slow stop and you're just going to lose power, and you're kind of going, well, what the hell's going on? And then if you're still pressing forward, once you do get to a stop, it's going to pitch you off the board and the board's going to start going backwards. So TeamGee needs to probably update the firmware on this remote somehow to do a safeguard against that. A lot of these boards have reverse, and I'm really not sure why they have reverse. I guess if you wanted to ride with the motors in the front of the board, you could do that and ride it in reverse, but really we don't need an option for reverse on an electric skateboard, in my opinion, and I've been skating most of my life. Regenerative braking is nice because it's going to help recharge the battery. If you pull back on this little thumb wheel right here, it's actually going to give you a nice slow brake. But a lot of these boards, the brakes will actually throw you off the board, so you have to be really gentle with the brake and just barely pull back on it. So I just go ahead and turn this off and turn off the power there, and we'll come back over to my editing station here. I just wanted to say thanks to all you guys who are supporting me on Patreon. We started this up about 3 weeks ago now. We're up to $309 a month, which is super awesome, and you can get into this on different tiers. You can even start up for like $1 to support me for making my videos. You can be a wingman supporter for $1. You can be the ace wingman for $6, and the top level is going to get you a Drone Camps t-shirt at $20 support level. So pretty cool that we're up to $309 a month, because that helps me buy more coffee and SD cards and a lot of gear that I have to keep buying to keep this channel going. So I want to say thanks to you guys who are doing that, and I really appreciate that from the bottom of my skateboarding heart. But I'm gonna go ahead and put my shoes on now, and we'll go outside and we'll ride this H6 from TeamGee. I'll give you a street test on it and we'll see how it does out on the streets of Portland. Here we go. I've also got a box to mail out, so we'll go ahead and take that with us. We'll go to the post office. We'll see how the board does on the way to the post office, and out to get some lunch. Alright, so let's go ahead and test out the TeamGee H6 on some Portland streets. Hopefully I don't bust my ass. What I like about it so far is that it's super maneuverable. Really nice. So right now I'm in the low mode. Let's just go ahead and like hit the throttle forward and see how long it takes to get up to full speed. A little bit of an uphill right here, and right now I'm doing probably like 9 to 10 miles an hour, in the low mode. It's nice for the sidewalks. Also able to do curb hops with this board, which is kind of crazy because there's a lot of clearance below the board. So normally on an electric skateboard I'm not going to do any curb hopping because the batteries hang so far below the board. Pretty high up, and I'm not afraid of hitting the battery on the bottom of the curb. If you do hit the battery on the bottom of the curb, it's not going to be good. In the low mode, let's go ahead and switch into the high mode, and let's do some highway riding. Here we go. In the high mode now. I want to stay away from the car door so I don't get doored. Not bad, pretty good speed. I'm at the top speed right now. Slowing down a little bit on that real super rough stuff, but pretty nice speed overall. Ooh, construction. If you want to go fast, this board has plenty of speed to it. Actually more speed than I really need, but not bad at all. This board's a cruiser. I'm just about to pass a CRV. Coming up on your left. Let's go. I'm looking for some vintage cups. Yeah. Okay, cool. I got this cool little cup for my son, and we'll go ahead and go to the post office. Little trick for if you're coming up to a hose or something you can't skate over. Also, we got to talk about length because a lot of the longboards out there are super long. Some of them seem to be too short, and if you take a step back, you're off the board. This one is kind of somewhere in the middle. It's not quite as long as some of the other longboards out there, like the giant boosted board and the Pomelo. This one seems to be somewhere in the middle. Got to see my buddy Lance, super cool guy. One of the nicest guys there. Here we go. guys, that forward and backwards motion here. This is backwards and brake. Push it again for forwards. And I'm not sure why these boards have that, but they go in reverse and they go forward. That's pretty much it. Alright guys, we've been riding this now for about 3 hours. When I was going up a hill earlier, it started to beep, and I noticed that when this board gets low on battery, it's going to start giving you a slow beep. A little bit while later, it's going to give you 2 beeps in a row, and then when it's really starting to die, it's just going to constantly beep, and then it's just going to die. But that's what you're going to expect if you get this board and you run the battery all the way down. Now, as far as my impressions on this board go, like, this one is probably the best one that I've ridden this year, mainly because I like the shorter style deck that they have going on. It's not quite a penny board, and it's not quite a longboard. It's just a little bit shorter than your typical longboard, so it makes it a little bit lighter. They saved a lot of weight by just shaving off like 6 to 8 inches off the deck, making it a little bit shorter, but it still rides nice like a longboard. So and it also makes it a little more maneuverable. It's not quite as long, and probably the best thing that I like about it is the thickness, and the fact that it's only 14 pounds makes this board one of the lightest ones and thinnest ones out there on the planet. So super nice for this particular size, and that lithium battery is tucked up in there nice and tight underneath the deck. Most people don't even notice that. It also gives you a nice clearance when you're coming off curbs. It's kind of like riding a regular skateboard. You just don't want to hit this on a curb. By the way, I didn't mention that earlier, but that's definitely something you want to avoid hitting. It does have a nice hard plastic coating around it, but you could damage this if you hit it on concrete. But as far as durability goes, the board is pretty solid. So far, I have not a whole lot of wear on the wheels. Over the past 3 months that I've been riding this is what the wheels look like after 3 months of riding. So they're still hanging in there, and even on the back side of the hub where the motors are, they've taken quite a beating, but I could still get those off to replace them. That side looks totally fine, and this side over here is taking a few beating right there around it, and the back of the deck as well. And also it looks like there's some kind of like sort of possibly on the bottom of the board, because I did hit a curb in the front of the board on accident, sort of biffed up the front, and you guys can see there is sort of a fiberglass layer down here underneath here. So that's interesting to note about this board, that it might actually have another layer of fiberglass in between that. I think it's a 12-layer deck on this board. So a pretty nice durable board, and it rides good. So definitely like a 5-star board, 5 out of 5 stars. And I normally never give 5 stars on my channel, so I think it's an awesome board, especially for the money. I would give TeamGee my 500 bucks. But anyway, guys, thanks again for watching this channel. TeamGee, if you're watching, send me the H9. I'd love to review that one, or any new boards you got coming out. That super drop-down deck through the trucks looks really, really awesome. So anyway, nice work, TeamGee. I'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.